your shirt off and shout Rev Deuces. Stream starts now. And now that I have your attention, it's time for us to get serious. Say hello and chat to your friends. Fires up the stream, hear the good vibes come. Let's distract you from that terrible day. Your wife doesn't suck, your husband is a nag. But here you matter, and there's very little lag. Rev Deuces stream, yeah, we laugh as one. Telling dad jokes and flirting with every daughter and son. We're gonna burn our retirement homes on down and shake our asses like Nurse Rose Brown. Patch notes hit, he's already read it. Scopely's wild, he's not gonna edit. Game's a mess, he still stands tall with spreadsheet sass and a reverent call. Do you miss having someone to talk to when you're bored? To talk to when you ain't got nothing to do? Do you miss having someone to talk to when it's late at night? Well, have I got a stream for you? Rev Deuces stream, yeah, we laugh as one. Telling dad jokes and flirting with every daughter and son. We're gonna burn our retirement homes on down.
Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Good to see. All right, this is how we're starting off today. It's become a meme at this point. It knows. It's listening. You know, we're not getting rid of that. We're going to keep that forever. I know you, and I know you're listening. Welcome in, everybody. We're here for our Sunday stream. Look, Tuesday, I want to make sure everybody remembers Tuesday, Battle Pass giveaway over on Twitch. So if you be part of our Battle Cash giveaway, if you want to take some of Rev Deuce's money and buy you a Battle Pass, well, make sure you're over on the Twitch side. Just like to remind everybody that that is a thing. That is twitch.tv/RevDeuce. So kind of like how you would find us on YouTube. So over there, we'll have that. I want to make sure everybody is aware that's happening. Maybe you weren't aware. Maybe you aren't even big on Twitch. But if you want to come by and win a Battle Pass, well, more power to you. You're more than welcome. Come over there and join. We've got several things to talk about today. We've got, well, I've actually been happy in the game. That was fun. And actually, if you're out there, whether you're part of AAA, Wolf, Gorn, Horde, Guns, SNW, STH, we had one of the most fun days in territory like ever yesterday. It was an absolute blast. Now, this is server 20 in the background, but it started off with battles over Corva, and then we had one over Tholis and Makala, and it was, honestly, it's a lot of fun. It was a lot of good PvP fun that territory should be, and I wish other servers could experience that. So shout out to all of 710. Y'all are freaking awesome. Y'all are freaking awesome. I don't even know what that means, but you are, and I appreciate you being there. So hopefully everybody here is doing well. If you are having a great day or a great weekend, well, I'm happy to hear it. If you're not, well, hopefully we can make it better, and I can make it better by, you know, I don't know, helping you find something, learn something, whatever it is, we'll do it today. So hope you're doing well. Garv, good to see you. Just jumped from 51 from 49 and building all 3 G4 epics just because I love them. Love that. Look, there needs to be more of this in the game, to be very clear. I've been saying it loudly, and I'm hoping more and more people pick it up. You need to do something that's fun. Don't worry if something's boring, right? Just ignore it. Do what you find exciting, which is, it kind of comes to that, the reason I brought up territory is because for many servers, territory is dead, but it doesn't have to be that way. And I actually said this in the video last week where so many of the PvP and interacting elements in the game, we put to the side because we feel like we don't have time for it. There's so much going on in other places that we get hyper fixated on, well, I've got to do this over here. I'm not going to bother organizing this type of a fight. But this was something that ended up being 6 different alliances, all combating it out and learning PvP crews and doing all this fun stuff. So, you know, I definitely get it. The game itself makes it very difficult for you to want to invest time and doing, you know, territory. But man, it can be so much fun when people are working together and fighting against each other. So, and you've also got, like Miss Joanne saying, Alliance tournaments going on right now, which is obviously one of everybody's favorite events in the game. So yeah, are you building a survey to mine? Who are you and what did you do with the real Rev? So there's a reason Rev's getting a second Nova. And the reason Rev's getting a second Nova is because Rev does not currently plan on buying, I'm just letting you know, the brand new ship coming out, the Serene Squall. I do not plan on buying it. So now Quizfell says PvP is not good in the game because of the huge power difference that occurs. Oh, really? Well, so glad you brought that up because literally just an hour ago, I had to teach a big boy a lesson. Yeah, that's a pretty big power difference when you say, but Rev went smiggity smackity taste my ginger photons. So look, it's all about finding what works for you. The biggest reason I've said this, the main reason most PvP people struggle is because they don't focus on PvP. PvP is just not something that you can just do. And look, that is completely okay, right? You can ignore it. You could be like Lube and be terrible in PvP. That doesn't make you a bad content creator. But it has to be something that you truly want to be good at. You can't just like play the game and then be a PvPer. Like you've got to want to do it. So again, I'm not saying there aren't moments like if this had been a level 70 with a vengeance, sure, I've got no chance. But I mean, this is a 7 level punch up. That's a level 67. And I took down their 15 build queue. So I mean, a lot of the PvP issues, like yes, I will absolutely agree that in terms of like comparing this to other games, this does not have great, PvP mechanics, etc. But at the same time, a lot of issues are also here on our player side that we gotta, as long as you can do what all you can do, that's what's important. So I just want to point that out real quick. Like, here comes that first person, like, well, PvP is bad because it sucks. Well, I don't know, man. If you can't tell by the giddy, like, I feel youthful. I feel younger. I feel like I'm 20 years old again. Look at that. Come on. Come on. Look at that. It's good stuff. Anyway, you got to enjoy what you enjoy, which is the point I'm making is, like, for example, here's why territory should be fun, right? Because if you're in territory, then you as a level 34 should be fighting 34s, 35s, 36s, 38s, 39s. And that way the 50s are fighting the 50s and the 60s the 60s. So if you haven't kind of caught them, you don't look 20 anymore. I don't. I look like an old man. But one of the things that we've talked about on 710, just something for you people out there to take to maybe your servers and consider, is we've actually talked about having planned fights like brawls. Like, hey, 3-star, y'all come try to take it from us. Everybody's welcome. And it's like the battle of the 5 armies. That's actually what I referred to it yesterday on 710 was it was like the battle of the 5 armies from The Hobbit, right? Now, many of you maybe have not read that book, but it's a good one and it should be required reading, in my opinion. But it was the battle of the 5 armies and it was a lot of fun. It was a little chaotic. And sure, there was scopely lag involved because, well, that is the 6th army that we must all fight with every day. But community is everything. And that's why I talk about community being everything. Like when you can have those moments where you laugh, have fun, like, oh, you blew me up, but let's learn how can we be better. That's what I really enjoy about this game. And it's also why I enjoy the streams. So, didn't know you could read? Look here, Lube. You calm it down. Don't make me come over there. I will not want to come to the UK for any reason, but I'll come over there to whoop your tiny. See. PvP is great. I get top 10 on incursions damage SLB by leaving my ships idle in the system and going AFK for a few hours. Very nice. They turned that there movie into a book. They turned that there movie into 3 movies. And then they wrote a book. Yeah. Yeah. We have freedom in the UK? Sure, Stephen, right. Just don't let the MPs and stuff see what you just typed on the internet. You might get put in jail. Yeah, be careful. Be careful. Chatterfang Disease have a back-end question for you. Just hit hero lock on all 3 factions and is wondering if any further rep will pile on next time they expand or just goes poof and gone. It should, again, assuming it works the same way that it has worked in the past, right? And Lube can chime in on this. Lube was here the last time. We can cross the road when we want. Same? What are you talking about? Is that a jaywalking reference? But we'll see. Now, Syndicate, obviously, we know will roll over. We'll see if they end up doing the same thing with Rep. We know that Rep is going to go up, up, and away. Now, the real question is, what will Rep go up to once they release a new premium area? How high will that Rep actually end up going? And that's an answer I don't have. Have I seen into the future? A little bit. But do I know everything? No. So, we'll see. Now, again, Syndicate did it. Rep in the past. Start your process over. Now, here's the drawback to why they wouldn't want that to happen. Well, if you remember, one of the reasons they put in 5 trillion, that's actually one of mine, honestly. I think, because right now it's, 10 million, 1 billion, 15 billion. I'm sorry, 10 billion, and then 500. Yeah, 15 and then 500. So my thought is that it's going to be, I actually think it's probably closer to 15 trillion, if I'm being honest with you. But I think 5 to 15 trillion is where that first new lock will be at. And in the past, one of the reasons they put in the hostile lock, the cap that y'all can only kill so much, and I know they love to say, oh, well, it's to combat botting. Right, yeah. Okay, the other reason that needs to be pointed out, because I'm not going to say that's not the reason, but I don't think it's the primary reason. The other reason was that the big old whales were up there moving too fast. Big thing came, they dropped new content and the content wasn't ready. Shocker, many of you might not know this, but STFC has had a habit of releasing content that was unfinished. Now you might go, Rev, that would never happen. It's just not possible. I know, I was shocked when I learned as well. But because of that, players were progressing through their rep way too quickly by Scopely's estimation, and they had to slow it down, right? And they've done that a couple of ways. Now, they also paired that with what Kevin has said is they brought out rep packs to get purchasable as an item. And you might actually see that again, where every week we had high-level spenders who were like waiting for the reset every week so they could buy more reputation packs. But one of the main reasons is you had people like Scott Corrin over on server 17 and others who were progressing through reps so quickly, well, Scopa didn't feel like they were hitting the right paywalls. So, yeah, there you go. So, yeah, botting, maybe. But do I personally believe Scopely really cares about botting that much? I'm going to be honest, I don't. And you know what, Scopely, you can come out and say that you do, and that's fine. We're entitled to our opinions. I really do not believe Scopely cares that much about botting because there are plenty of active programs out now that allow it. So, we're not gonna get into that. Now, do I personally support that? No, nor will you see me promoting a bot. In fact, I am very much against anything like botting, personally. So if I catch you, I will report you. But am I going to sit here and say that every time I've reported a bot, it's gotten shut down? No. So, yeah, it's, there we go. And Lube says, I think they care, but struggle to do anything about it. Here's my response to that. I'm gonna get a little biblical with you. It is Sunday. We're allowed to use Bible verses on a Sunday. Faith without works is dead, quoting the great James. And look, you can care about it all you want, but the very little effort they actively put into stopping it makes me doubt how much they actually care. Now, before anybody gets on to Rev for taking verses out of context, look, calm down. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel like they do enough to actually combat real botting that does happen in this game. For example, the fact that for years now, depending on what program you access, you can see when somebody's shields turn off. Yeah, everybody in your game. When's their shield turning off? Where's their base at all times? Who needs a Voyager? I'm sorry, who needs an NX-01? No, wait, it is Voyager. Who needs a Voyager? Right, so I think they could do a lot more is all I'm saying, and I want them to do a lot more. And I'm not trying to be a hater. I just think that we, as a general population, would agree that botting is bad, right? The average player is going to be negatively impacted by the fact that other people have this advantage. And there are some things that bots can do that they have turned into previous paid releases. The Kashar was a paid release, and that's essentially one of the things that a lot of the common bots can do. So, but Chatterfang, I'm not going to tell anybody where to find these bots, and again, I will actively report people I find using them because it is a TOS violation. And I think in the fairness of the game, these are bad. But I'm not going to deny their existence either, which too often seems to kind of get scraped under the mud. Scraped under the mud, or the carpet, whatever, it gets scraped under. So just want to make sure it's out there. But I wish they did more to actually combat it. But back to the original conversation, short answer, will your rep carry over? Unlikely. I mean, we can hope that it can, but unlikely. Most likely it's just into the ether now. And we'll get a really, really tall lock to work towards. When I do an account views, usually on Wednesdays, Eddie. It's just been really busy lately. So, but usually on Eddie. Usually on Wednesdays. Good afternoon, Michael. Welcome in. A reminder for those coming in, don't forget Tuesday. That's this upcoming Tuesday, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have got, yep, you guessed it, Battle Cash giveaway. So if you want to win a Battle Pass that you can enjoy this month without spending your own money, make sure you're there. Just a reminder. My former alliance is draining my base today. Well, cool, Greg. Awesome. Happy for you. Happy for you. Let's see. We got James that we didn't expect any new ships to be added to the IA soon. There are ships getting added before the end of the year. So it's not done. And just to reiterate for those who don't know, the plan is for long-term every special ship to be added into the IA. This is not something that my discussion with them that they plan on not touching, like they're just going to drop it like a hot potato. They plan on continuing with this particular potato for a while. And I think that is a good thing. I think that's a good thing. So we'll see what ends up being the next. I know many of you have got different opinions on what should be the next ship added to the IA building, but don't worry, more is coming on that. So would you know if you were a bot? Look, we're not going to get into the LLM AI conversations, but I think Stewie Doo's a bot, personally. Yeah. I think Stewie Doo is a bot. Did your relation with Scopely get better? Nope. My relation with Scopely has not changed at all. The people who don't like me and don't want me to work with them still don't like me. And the people that do work with me still work with me. Like nothing changed, right? For those that missed it this past Friday, and I shared this in my Discord, they came to me, Game Design asked me to pitch them ideas for new officers. And I pitched 3 new officer ideas. And while I'm not going to sit here and say that I think, everything Rev says is going to end up in the game, the whole point of that pitch was to give them something different, a style that they have not explored before, and really try to get them to work more horizontally versus vertically. Less power creep, more power width. I don't know how to word that. I'm not a game mathematician. But I did talk to them about new officer designs for content coming down the road, and I'm hopeful that the more of these type of interactions that I have, and Lube has, and Iron Chef, and Major Samo, etc., Tiberius, Zero, Ultra Vetica, all the people, will lead to more out-of-the-box thinking instead of, this copy-paste where we get 4 mining nodes, 2 hostiles, 2 armadas, entities, and we just copy-paste the same stuff that we've had forever. So, did you pitch the Mining Strike Team? I mean, Mining Strike Team has been pitched by a lot of people for several years. But no, if you're specifically talking about what I just pitched here a few days ago, would be, here and put this on the screen, I'll share it with you. This is in our captain's quarters of the Discord. This is that special area of the Discord we have for those who financially support the channel. Yep, Rev's a shill. Call me a panhandler, it's fine. I got to feed them kids somehow. But here's what I propose. And again, I know it's going to happen, so I might as well preface this. Do I think that this is free of flaws? No. Do I think this is perfect? No. Do I think these are 3 good ideas that get them to think outside the box? Yes. And for anybody who's asking, yeah, they love the ideas. They thought they were great. Now they acknowledge, hey, I don't know if we'll be able to do this, but they loved the thinking, which was getting outside the box. So here's what Rev proposed. Interceptor Strike Team would get an additional officer, Kalis, the Unforgettable. Upon death, all friendly ships in the system receive massive weapons buff. Think of it like a max fortification. So think about applying that in territory. You're there. If you have that officer on the ship, you go boom, and then everybody in the system, or maybe 12 ships, 20 ships, whatever, they get a big boost based on like a max fort. A Battleship Strike Team would have a Romulan officer, draw the Singularity, reduce opponent impulse speed to 40 for X amount of minutes. I just put 5, but reduce impulse speed for maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, as a negative. Again, the officer itself would have no combat ability. They would be a ability based on death of the officer. And then Explorer Strike Team would have a Warp Core Breach officer. Upon death, deal 25% flat hull damage to your opponent. So it's a level 70, 25%. It's level 7, 25%. But you would then have your repair time magnified by 250. So it'd be a significant drawback, but you could get these type of, punch-up type mechanics and horizontal mechanics, because that would work for everybody. Imagine you're a level 70, right? But you don't have the vengeance, but you want to hurt their vengeance. Warp Core Breach. So these are the type of ideas that I pitched them on Wednesday that they enjoyed. Whether that ends up in game, I don't know. But I do really want to try to keep encouraging game design to, instead of like, let's just make a new PvP officer, but now it has 10 million ISO Casquadaga. Yeah, I made that up. Yeah, Casquadaga is better than Cascade because it ignores ISO defense. Inventing something completely new that we don't need. Right, so we'll see what ends up happening, but this is the type of access and the type of things that I can do thanks to y'all, because y'all support the channel. And like I said, sure, I might not be an official content creator anymore, but my ability to try to influence this game hasn't changed at all. It just, basically, the biggest negative for me is Rev does not get to give away Scopely's money every week to give battle passes away. It comes out of Rev's pocket. But if that's what I've got to do, then that's what I got to do. It's fine. So, not official, but still the best. Well, thank you, Charles. We have a lot of great content creators out there. I love our teams. So, imagine if we had minor versus minor PvP. Well, I can tell you that the Serene Squall that is coming in is basically a fighting mining ship. I mean, it is kind of like what it is. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're going to take down Borg cubes with it, but that is like part of its design. And if y'all watched it in Strange New World Season 1, you kind of would probably have seen a little bit of what it might be able to do anyway. I mean, it's got a ton of abilities. So, you had North Star battle yesterday's for L's. I love that. That is a great LOL to do. I love that. Go for the disco event. Thank you for the reminder. I have not done my disco event. Let's go ahead and do that right now. For those that don't know, Rev's favorite way to do the disco event is take out his Borg cube, summon myself to Dominion Land, and do some of those. And don't forget, Alliance Tournaments is up. Get your stuff in. If you've not finished your task, go do your task. I'm going to pick up this task real quick, and I'm going to show y'all a trick that some of you might not know. If you're a G5 player, you can do 10 of those tasks, that task being the G6 uncommon task. If you have taken your Revenant, right here, Mark 3, say I've got 3 left, but there we go, and that's going to give me the uncommons to complete. Now, you can only do that 10 times if you're in G5, right? Only 10. But, I mean, still cool. And that's a free-to-play 10K task. Now, if you're a G6 player, it's pretty easy to get that task done. And, in fact, I'm quite jealous of how many free-to-play tasks a G6 player has access to. Oh, I think I've already done that one. Oh, let me go look. The Dominion Armada one. Let me go look. Bajor. Darn, I've already done it, but that's a good one. That's a good one. If you're a G3 player, G3 players can't scrap the Revenant, so you're not ever going to do that one. You're just SOL. Sorry on that one. All right. Bruno Good to see says, I was not happy with how the last updates went, all the new grinds and stuff. I stopped spending completely. Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all. Speak with your wallet. I say that quite often on this channel. Speak with your wallet, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. So, yeah, if you are trying to do, free-to-play 10K task and you're looking for maybe ways to do them that you weren't thinking about, there you go. There's one if you're a G5 player that you can do so that you can do that G6 one, which is nice. It's nice to have that as an option. So, syndicate task seems buggy. You get 2 points per syndicate and 110,000 syndicate. Is it quite easy to get if you have DTI high enough? It is. And it's especially that syndicate task is actually something that every G6 player should be able to do every single day. So, like I said, it just comes back to like where you're at in your gameplay, how far you've progressed. But G6 players have the most free-to-play 10K task available. They've got a lot of them that they can do. I gotta make sure, did I just do the right thing? Yeah, I need to be in here. The specials. Having to do the Proto Matter one 3 times a day, man, you've got a lot of Taco Bell saved up if you're doing the Proto Matter one every day, but at least it's free to play, right? And that's the biggest thing that I want, free to play ability. Now, if you just break down and say, heck it, I want to buy this free to play task, and you do that, that's fine. But for me, big importance is I want free to playable. It's really, really important for me to do my 10K free to play task. So, you long lobby to have Alliance task added? I mean, sure. But they did add more tasks for like G3 players to do, and those are the grind tasks. So for example, on my level 34 account yesterday, I was grinding Herodian, grind Romulans, right? There's 10K tasks for that. All those will help you progress. Luke says, I just wish ATs were more alliance-based. I do agree. Said, I just want to make sure people are aware of what they can do. But I'm right there with you. I do wish there were more things like that. Like, hey, what if there was a task that paid out 10K to everybody in the alliance, but it required you to actually put your starbase out there and go mine 1 million, plasma? I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that. Speaking of that Proto Matter task, there it is right there, free to play. You grind it out and have the Taco Bells, which maybe we'll do that on this stream. I don't know. This one is not free to playable, so we're going to go ahead and re-roll. How you doing, Captain Crunch? Good to see you. Major Sambo says, all those temporal disruptors from those free tasks went right into instant maxing. I just acquired Glavin. Congratulations. That is 60%. It's quite a bit. 60% more ISO damage. And hey, if you want to see how ISO damage still matters today, here you go. Pew pew. ISO still matters. A Scopely boot from the official content creators? Yeah, James, you're super late. That was 2 months ago. Yeah, that was 2 months ago, my friend. Something like my playlist is still okay. Cool, playlist is still going. You maxed like 5 artifacts today. Congrats. I'm working on that as well. Oh, real quick, since we brought up artifacts, if you're in the chat and you want to help out our community, one thing that we could use assistance on is getting more of this filled out, this being this stuff. The mastery artifacts. Now, I've been doing really good about getting the Sigma stuff upgraded. So I've got the Sigma stuff put it up to tier 6. But if you see things like G4, G5 players, we are still missing a lot of information for what the mastery artifacts pay out. So the Pike Sextant, Mbenga's books, Fox Ritual Gong, and the Ancient Vulcan Scroll. So if y'all are out there and you've got your stuff higher than Rev does, like for example, I'm at tier 4 on the Ancient Vulcan Scroll, so it's really easy for me to see what these pay out. Hit me up. I need more information. All these boxes that you see are empty. Please send me that information and I will plug it in. So if you're a G4, G5, or G6 player and you have any of the tiers not listed here, please shoot it to myself or Quazel and we will get it input so that everybody can see what you get as you get these mastery artifacts mastered, leveled up. Greatly appreciate all those who help out. Very, very much appreciated, as this is absolutely a community project. So, okay, Bears fan, great to see you. And I'm sorry to hear that you've been having migraines. Denro, good to see you as well. Everyone here today, hope everyone's having a wonderful day. It's a wonderful weekend. So yes, indeed. What are your Alliance expectations with Alliance tournament participation? Curly, keep in mind that you're asking the #1 Alliance in the game. And I don't say that like with a big head. I just say that like factual. IA has very, very big requirements, as in you better be active. Like being inactive here is grounds for dismissal. I was being honest. They're very strict. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, they want to be #1. Well, part of being #1 means they are very strict on Alliance participation, to where if you aren't doing the things, well, you might end up with a boot up your butt. So, I mean, you're going to keep scrolling. You're going to find of the 100 and something people we have, 99 of them. We have 103 right now. 99 of them have scored. And again, I'm not in leadership in IA, so I'm not trying to speak for them, but there is an expectation for you to participate and for you to get the points up. So, and shout out to Doss, who is currently leading us with 191,000 points. So there's an expectation there, because IA wants to dominate the leaderboards. IA wants to get the #1 rewards. As you can see, I've got the frame and everything so far. I've actually thought about jumping to another alliance to get frame and rank 3, because I've actually got rank 2 before and rank 1, but I don't have rank 3. The collector in me wants to jump to another alliance and somehow perfectly make it to where we were finished 3rd. But they're very serious about that, where they want high participation. They want you to do something. Even if you can't get 150,000 points, they want you to get 50,000, 60,000, something, to contribute to the entire group having success, which I obviously love. If you're starting at 56 or staring at 56 for a while, the G5 rares are totally worth it. Absolutely. I go back to my constant recommends, because people ask this from me all the time. I do not recommend skipping. Get you at least one of the faction ships every time they roll around, at least one. So the scoring wrong with 15 tasks completed, but 191,000 score. The scoring is not wrong, Lee. So this time around here in Grandmaster, you had extra scoring you could get. And if you go into your event store, you can see where you get that score. So if you go to your event store, you've got these right here, the play to win and the play to draw. These pay out more of the points. So that's how some folks are getting a lot more, is they're getting it via this. Then the draw one was a guaranteed amount, And then this one was an RNG, where you might get a big one, you might get the same as the other, or you might get less. I mean, you're rolling the dice. So, with a better chance of getting less, obviously. But there you go. And then don't forget, I do want to remind everybody of this. If you're out there, remember choice rewards. Less than 1 day left on the timer. Make sure you get your choice rewards done, okay? If you haven't already, make sure you get those done. And also, holy heck. Yo. I appreciate this. James, thank you so much. James donated $100 to help with raising money so that we can get all the school supplies for the kids. Well, big thank you to that. Holy heck, that is so kind of you. I'm going to put that in so it goes up on the board. Thank you. I really appreciate it. That is super humbling for you support me and my family. We're almost got that goal finished now. Thank you. Not there yet, but we're working on it. I greatly appreciate that. And I'm going to put that in. Very, very much thank you for supporting me and my family. And look, I get it. If you're not playing STFC anymore, don't forget, we are still playing other games. And on Twitch, I'm partnered with another company called Gaijin. We play War Thunder together. So this game 100% can get frustrating. And I actually encourage people to take breaks, take a step back, find the love again for it. But don't ever forget the community is what made you love it in the first place. So greatly appreciate you supporting me and my family. Thank you. Did they offer a second battle pass this time around? Not in terms of purchasing the original battle pass again. However, you do have the Ferengi pass, or the Grandmaster Tactics pass, I'm sorry. That is like a bonus one this time around. So, Scopely learn from Flashpoints 1. Depends on what you mean by learn from it. Because you're still going to get Flashpoints. Like, you're not gone from that. Flashpoints are still going to be here. Remember, Flashpoints are literally just Galactic Invasions. That's all they are. They're copy-paste Galactic Invasions. A little bit tougher, but that's what they are. Are they going to, like, stop doing that? No. At the same time, should we expect a better version of events this month? Yes. That is something that, yes, we should expect. So that is something that I'm hoping we see better versions of and believe we will. Why is Cube not going? But will Flashpoints change as a mechanic? No. The Flashpoints mechanic is going to stay the same. So, and Jane, really do appreciate you greatly for that kindness. That means a lot. Thank you. Is Boldly Go coming back? Yes, I don't have a date of when. Harley says, I have all three G5 uncommons and rares, about to head to G5 Epic and 60 until G7 is released. You're gambling that G5 scrapping will come out one day. G5 scrapping is going to come out, but I do really want to push this and remind you that G5 scrapping will not be good when it comes out. I want people to know that from the get-go. That doesn't mean I won't argue for it to get improved. We're going to run math on it and say, hey, this is where it should be to be where this is at. And then last time this happened, so when G4 scrapping came out, myself and Alex, who is my podcast mate on our podcast, the Gaming Guys podcast on RevNews.com, we had to fight for G4 scrapping to be made better. And they actually made G4 scrapping better by a factor of 4 when it rolled out originally. And it was still pretty bad, and thankfully enough efficiencies have rolled out to now G4 scrapping is actually quite lucrative and beneficial to the players. Expect the exact same thing for G5. So what I'm really trying to get people to think about here, the paradigm I want you to shift to is, remember, or don't come in thinking G5 is going to be an economy booster that's going to help you in G6. That's going to be straight up with you. It's going to come out, but do not expect it to be this G6. Wow. And if they surprise us, oh man, I'm going to give them so much praise. You're going to see not a Rev Rant video, but a Rev Raves video if they come out and surprise me. But I am 100% expecting G5 scrapping to be extremely lackluster when it rolls out, and that we're going to have to argue for it to be better, and it's going to take about a year of further power creep, researches, and efficiencies to come out before we finally go, okay, now it's worth scrapping this specifically to help with this. Like we do with the ISS Jelly, and like we do with the Enterprise A, and the Tribune, and the Hegtah. Now it's worth it, but a year and a half ago, we weren't having this conversation. It wasn't worth it. So I just want to make sure everybody has like realistic expectations. I'm not saying that we aren't going to fight them on it, because we are, but I don't want anybody sitting here going, oh, well, I'm going to have all this ready, and as soon as I'm level 63, I'll be able to scrap this and have a tier 9 Akira. Because let me just go ahead and give you a wake-up call. No, that is not how that's going to work. And I'm not trying to be a butt. I'm just trying to make sure that y'all have realistic expectations. That's it. Not trying to be a butt at all. I love y'all, and I just want y'all to know what's happening. So, all right. Make sure my music's still playing. Good. Back to chat. Basically expect 1 Sigma trit per tier of G5 Epic that you can scrap. I don't know if I'd do that low, but you know what? Just for the sake of proper expectations, sure. What time is movie night? EST. Oh, great question, Bears fan. So if you are part of our website, revduce.com, one of our benefits is member movie night, and that is about 4.5 hours from right now. 4.5 hours from right now, we're going to have movie night. We're going to be watching Happy Gilmore 2 together and hopefully having some laughs. So, hopefully having some laughs. Be nice if Scopely learns and makes scrapping decent at the start. Well, Dragon Keeper, that's just, again, don't even set yourself up for that expectation. Like, look, here's why I'm telling you this. It's because I love you. Because if you come into that with like even a glimmer of hope, you're going to be very mad. And I'm trying to prevent you from being mad. And yes, 6 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. Central Standard, 3 p.m. Pacific. I'm just trying to prevent you from being upset. Right? I don't even want you to have a 1% hope that it's going to be that. Only because I don't want you to come to Rev's channel saying, hey, free scrapping, hashtag. I want you to know what's likely to happen, and then we fight to make it better. That's all I want. I have not watched episode 4 of Strange New World season 3 yet. No. So. Instructions unclear. Purchased a dozen cloaked racketeer tokens. Yikes. Good reference and joke, though. But yikes. Yikes. More questions and comments that y'all have. Bring them in. I'll be more than happy to answer whatever we got. So. All right. Let me, wrong one. I need Alliance task. Oh, y'all got me all distracted with all your funnies. Everybody being silly. For G5 scrapping, hope for the best, expect the worst. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the best way to approach it. Ooh, Galactic Recruit. Let's actually go see if I can do that free-to-play 10K task. Remember, if you've been saving up your oopsie chest, not this. This is something different, but I need to get, hopefully, some more rare directives. And I did get rare directives. Let's go. That's a big W for the Rev Dog. But if you remember, if you save up your emergency field rations, I don't have quite enough. If you have 19,800 of them, that becomes a free-to-play 10K task. It's not one that you can do consistently, but it is worth thinking about and saving. And there's actually other ways you can get Galactic Recruits as well to augment that. But it is just good to have that in the old noggin of, hey, look, if I'm looking for 10K tasks that may be a little bit unusual because maybe everybody else is doing the other ones, that's one that you can have and save for. Just because, remember, more loot is better. The more loot that you can get means the more rewards you can have, right? And who can complain about more? I also want to talk, because I saw Seath in here earlier. If you are a G3 player, I have to strongly encourage you to pick this up. Now, I managed to confirm a couple things this Alliance tournament that I did not know, and that Scopely, well, specifically Obsidian Hamster didn't know, but this is typically a level 40 plus item. Level 40 plus. However, in Grandmasters, you can be a G3 player, unlock and apply the Ferengi Whip. So yes, that means that as a G4 player, you will then have access to pulling those epics and everything else immediately. You want proof of it? Good. I'll show it to you by closing this account down. Populating up this account, hitting my Forbidden Tech, and showing you my Ferengi Whip right here. Now, keep in mind, you have to unlock the uncommons before you see things like Protomatter and Trial Bells. But here in Grandmaster, you can unlock the Ferengi Whip 100% free to play, and this is a level 34 account. So if you are a G3 player out there and you're saying, hey, what should I get in the Alliance Tournament store? Bingo, bango. There is a huge addition to your game that will greatly speed up your acquisition of various FTs and CTs, well, FTs, but more than that, also help you get Protomatter and Trial Bells. And as a final reminder, don't take it past tier 8. Remember, limit how far you take it. Don't take it past tier 8. But this is a fantastic pickup and a fantastic quality of life for G3 players that even people at Scopely didn't know was there. So just a fun fact, if you're out there, you're a G3 player, even an early G4 player, and you're questioning, well, what should I spend event store currency on? Definitely pick up the Ferengi Whip if you don't have it already. Still one of the better free-to-play pathing items in the game. Used to cost money, now it's a free-to-play path, and previously was a 40 plus, a level 40, ops 40 plus thing, now available to more folks. So that's a pretty good thing. Yeah, not to mention actually applying it and then using it to win your leaderboards and stuff on Mining Mondays. So you can absolutely catapult yourself way ahead of your class if you are doing that. Just a little fun thing that if you weren't paying attention to, hopefully you are. And if you're a G4 player, don't worry. You matter in that conversation as well. So, but specifically G3s, because they had no access prior. G4 players had it in event stores. Now, through Grandmaster Alliance tournaments, G3 players have it. Really want them to do it. Why not take it past tier 8? Because it changes the rates of what drops. So, hey, Ultravetica, great to see you, my friend. Welcome in. And Lube, thank you for being so nice. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday as well. So, yeah, some really, really good stuff there that I encourage folks to check out. And as you can see in my tournaments, that's what I've been doing. I've been going after stuff like that. I need to actually do some more grinds. I've actually already got the Vindicator ready for when I go level 40. It's right there. Why? Remember, because I want all the sourcing to all the FCs. Well, except for Khan, right? So I've already got the Ferengi Whip. Bam, unlocked. Got it. Now I don't have the Kashar here, but still, you can see going after various things that probably hopefully all of y'all are. I've already got the Transwarp skin, right? So all these things, hopefully folks take advantage of, and I need to do some grind tasks. Do I have one handy? No. None of these grind tasks are grinds that Rev likes. Re-roll these real quick while we talk about chat. Only heard this one's too late. Well, can't help if it's too late, Michael, but I can try to help everybody else. John says, got the whip as soon as it was available free to play in my high 30s. Game changer? Absolutely. Clay says, my tier 13 cube now costs Sigma Trip to repair it up 60. Where can I obtain Sigma Trip before moving to 61? The Revenant. Like those refines. That's it. That's it. Your Revenant refines. Once you do the upgrades, so that Mark III refine that you actually saw me pulling earlier, that's your answer. So we'll try to re-roll these and get, see, I can't do mirror universes, although that's a pretty good 3,000 one. Like, that's solid. I'm just trying to re-roll and get grind tasks. That's what I have to do on this account. Board probe, I might do that one. I hate it because I'm having to hit, one level below. Because I can't punch up yet because I don't have a Talios. So I can't get to the systems. Oh, I'll have to debate that one. Anyway, we're going to close this. We'll go back to our other account because I got to finish doing all my pulls, and I don't want all my refinery timers to be offset. I'm sure many of you are like me, where you're very specific about your refinery timers. So you don't have the Ferengi Whip in your Alliance Tournament store. What level are y'all in, Sethan? So, because my Alliance on server 710 is not in Masters League, but they are in Expert League. So I don't know where exactly you're at, but we get level 60, level 70 baseball cap too. I mean, I should have made a level 61 already, but this was actually a gift to me from a player who, well, I don't actually think he plays very much anymore. So that's the main reason I wear it, and I've never made another one, but I do need to. Honestly. What does the Grandmaster Kashar give? The Grandmaster Kashar gives the same thing that the regular Kashar turn-in does, except it doesn't have a limit. So you can pull it as much as you want to level up the Kashar artifact as much as you want. That's the benefit there. You love the 6K FKR grind task? I love those grind tasks. I just can't get them to pop often. That's my problem. I need them to populate. So let's see, other questions. Sally, the Mark III only gives Sigma for the first 10. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that, like I said, that's what I was saying. If you want Sigma, that's all I can give you, right? That's all I can give you. It's one of those things that they want people to level up on. And we try to say, hey, watch out. Make sure y'all know that is something down the road to take a look at. But, it's just the game going to game, I guess is what I'm saying. Game going to game. Get all these in. Nice. And we do another pull. Okay, good. There's our mastery artifacts we were just talking about. See how much I've got left here to do. All right, I did do all the pulls. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go double check and see if this upgraded anything. You all think lazy PvPer will love the new mining skip with the new squall? Well, I mean, I'm actually don't mind it. I see it as another challenge. I think a lot of it is how do you approach the game? Like if you make something that is difficult, I see it as a challenge to rise above. Other people understandably can get annoyed, and I don't think there's a right or a wrong there. But for example, I brought up this hit where I took down a 67 earlier, right? And I brag about it a little bit because I'm proud of it, and I think that's okay. But why did this happen? Well, simple. I'll show you why it happened. This is from an Alliance, DMFL. I've actually given them multiple shout outs on this stream. I like the back and forth we have. But I was trying to do my freebooter daily, and this big old cube said, sit down to my poor, defenseless PvE Enterprise D. So I then had to teach the cube a lesson, and I beat him down with my Rotard. But that's a challenge I had to rise to, because I say this all the time for PvP. Like, this Rotaran did not just exist, right? It wasn't this strong, right? I've worked really hard to get my ISO damage to 345% as a level 60. And yes, the guy's name is Daniel Jackson. He's a big fan of SG1. But I got to work hard to get my ISO up. I had to work hard to max out the galactic favor that gives me more hull health. That's one of the things I have. A lot of people ask, Rev, how is your Rotaran 3.1 billion power? Well, one of the things I did is I went to the Klingon favor and I maxed it out for the Rotaran, right? So a lot of it takes work. It takes months and months of work. But then after all that work, if you do all the things, then you can have really cool moments like this where you beat a 15 billion cube who's 7 levels above you. And when everybody's like, oh, all this game is punching down, you can go, but I punch up. And it's a pride thing. So it's a pride thing. Now, I will say the only non-free-to-play thing on my Rotaran is the skin. That was a $20 purchase. Shout out to Nemesis, who is from Spartans on server 41. They purchased that for me. They wanted me to have it because I talked about how pretty it was and I liked it. So it does have a small damage boost. It's not overwhelming. It's not like it's 1500% ISO cascade, but I do want to make sure that's there. Y'all know I'm not trying to pretend like it's 100% free to play. It's kind of like the James Bond of Rotarans. It's a 99.7% free to play Rotaran. But anyway, that skin or not, I still would have had that punch up. You saw the cube is supposed to be the most powerful ship a player can own? It generally is. It is. It is. At the same time, that doesn't mean that there's no situations where a cube can't lose. And that's what good gameplay should be, right? I'm halfway to my Reliant. Woo! Can't tell. I've been missing some days, can you? Halfway to my Reliant. Miss Nemesis is very generous. They are. Then you get called a huge whale by those bad players. Look, I don't think Daniel Jackson's a bad player. I've actually never had a bad interaction with him. This was more to just show me punching up and how if you do want to dedicate your time to it, you can. I don't want to hide the fact that it is a lot of time, a lot of work and effort. It is not something that just happens. So my ISO damage is at 69% level 40. Is that decent? It's a little low, if I'm being honest, but it's not terrible. It is a little low. I would encourage you to work on getting that higher. The number one thing in terms of getting it higher immediately, Major Samo, another one of our content creators, just did. In the Augment faction, you have an item called the Glavin. I've already got it, but it's an epic. Sits right next to the Forbidden Quantum Slipstream. If you get that unlocked and you max it, that's 60% more ISO damage by itself, right? And that's one of the things that I got that is how I jumped so high so quickly. Because if y'all remember, if you go back to my videos just 2 months ago, I'm only at like 180, 200% ISO. And I've basically doubled it in 2 months by various researches. And more importantly, that Glavin. Although other things have also helped, I've leveled up in Syndicate. Your Syndicate levels have multiple jump points that will give you more, and I think this is really important for people to know, more ISO damage and ISO defense. So, Matthew says, how'd you get your ISO damage so high? Like I said, Glavin was big. Every research that applies to ISO, I hunt down. Syndicate levels, very, very much important for that. I just hit Syndicate 52. Syndicate 52, I think, gives 16% more. We're going to go look in a second. Let me get these pulls in real quick because I don't want people to forget down here, Syndicate pulls. Bam. Don't miss these. Huge. Definitely need to be pulling that every day. So let me get these pulls in. We'll go take a look at it. But you've got Star Path Research. Now, to point out, Star Path Research does not show on your ship. That's a bit of additional ISO that will apply in a fight, but that does not show as your static number, right? Things like Syndicate, Glavin, those show as your static number. But your researches and a lot of your artifacts do not show to your static number. So that's worth pointing out. Your FKR base ISO is 500. Very nice, Panda. That's what I would expect from a level 70, to be 500 or greater. Steven says their base ISO is 314. That's solid. I mean, that's better than a lot of players I've seen. Now, it's worse than me, so I feel a little bit good about that, but that's good. That's good. Anything above 300% in low Sigma or high G5 is very good because most people don't have that. So, most people don't have that, but you got several things that add to ISO. DTI building, Syndicate, War Room building. Anyway, we'll go through a little brief follow here and kind of hit on a lot of the major ones so that y'all can kind of say, hey, I want to focus on those too. Because it really does matter. You know, and a year from now, ISO might not have the impact that it still does currently have in the game. But ISO still has a major positive impact on every form of gameplay, whether it's PvP, PvE, etc. So we've got the War Room. This gives small trickles of ISO, goes up by about a half tick every level. That's a little small one. Come over here to your DTI building. Wrong building. That's the Independent Archives. DTI looks like this one. So there's your ISO defense and ISO damage. You see at 60s, high as I can take it. Currently giving me 60%, which is equal to a max Glavin. You come into your artifacts menu, and we can sort by, it's already sorted by level. So my Glavin is right here. So I max this out. That's 60%. So just between those two, that's 120% right there, right? That's 1/3 of all my ISO is in those two spots that I just showed you. Now, there are other ISO boosters like these that only show up in an actual fight. So you have to actually look at the math for it, right? Stuff like this. You actually have to see that in the math. But ones that are always on abilities, like we talk about having Wrath of Khan Joaquim has an always on ISO defense, those you'll actually see show up in your static number. And then you come back up here to the Syndicate I was just harping up. It's 14%. I think I said 16%. But 52 gives 14% more ISO damage. And to be clear, that is in addition to this one, which is back at 48, 47, right? So then you go up more. My next big one is at 55. That's another 18%. And then you come over here. You have this one at 58, which is 20. And then go all the way to the end, and you have a 25er right there. Then finally, 35 at 65. So again, as you're pushing up in Syndicate, that will also boost how much you get. And that does not include all the research-specific ones that are like, hey, it's got to have hull breach or morale or burning like we have here in the Star Path. These are all additional. So like my hull breach one, that's an additional 16% that does not show up in my static number because that requires to be activated. So anyway, several different things there, and that's how the Rotaran has gotten as high as it has, with a combination of all these researches, favors, artifacts, etc. And there are also FTs and CTs that affect ISO. So again, this is why I say it takes time. Like, one does not just become good at PvP. You have to put forth a lot of effort, research, and say, hey, I want to do this, and then go after all these different things. Scott says they're at 460 ISO and 1050 defense. Love that, Scott. That defense obviously is going to be mostly Joaquim, right? Now, getting your defense up is definitely important, but this is also why we encourage people to get Wrath of Khan Joaquim, because he is a static boost for everything. Doesn't matter if it's PvP, PvE. You see I've got him sitting right here, and I do not have him tiered up as much as y'all might have. He's only a 200% bonus for me, but very, very good. He's Pelia, but much stronger than Pelia. So, have you maxed your Prime Mirror ISO research? Nope, I have not. That's one of the things that I'm working on. It's one of the reasons that I'm not above 400%, because speaking of mirror, if you come down here to the very end, premium isolytic damage. This is one of the reasons that even though I hate trash points in terms of like the events, I do trash points because it pays out premium mirror dust. That's 50%. So this one alone would take me right at 400% by itself. But you got to do a lot of work to get there. And that's why I do PvP Arena, so I can get the premium mirror dust drip. That's why I do trash points, so I can get the premium mirror dust drip. I might dislike it, but it's not. So what I'm saying is I ignore the event side of things, so I ignore the FOMO of the event. Whether I get the event done or not doesn't really matter to me, but I do the mechanic so that I can get the rewards that do have long-term value. So I don't let the event FOMO get me. I just say, hey, I know this is going to make my account stronger, so I'm going to go focus on doing this. So, is there any reason to save my Transgen 4 building upgrades? In my opinion, no. Because remember, every 5 levels is going to give you another token, and you probably want that token. So, is there a chart showing the max ISO damage possible per ops level? There's not. There's not. I just kind of have a good idea of where everything is at because I work with thousands of you because that's my job, and I'm very blessed to have it. So I can tell you that, you know, if you remember, you go to my Ops 60 checklist, what did I say? At a minimum, I wanted people at a minimum to have 150% ISO, which is a third of what I currently have. And Viper, let's go. Thank you so much, Viper. Viper supporting the channel here, boosting up the community, gifting 5 subscriptions here to the YouTube channel, which means 5 people get special color on their name. They get special icons, special emotes. Thank you, Viper, for the love and support. That means a lot. It means a lot. So, only need 77,000 more premium dust for me to upgrade that ISO damage. Somebody has been hitting up Spock's Club because Rev doesn't even bother looking at that depressing number. He just goes and clicks it. And like, I'm not going to worry about how depressing it is. I'm just going to do it. And eventually I'll get there. Yeah, that's what I tell myself. Because if I look at numbers that big, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why? I don't like it. So, more power to you, Major Samo. Definitely respect that. All right, we go ahead and get this in. Remember, one of my favorite turn-ins is getting that solo Zindi Armada directive. Super good. I'm going to come on and get this. I'm working on unlocking Soren's Lithium, which is another PvP item, FYI. Free to play. Come down here and upgrade my transmitter as well. Trash points are flash points. It's just how most people are referring to flash points. Sugar Fat Man says they have 140% ISO at Ops 42. If you don't have 150 at Ops 60, you need to start on ASAP. Agreed. And again, when I make my recommendations, I try to do it in a way that isn't like I try not to be or sound like judgy, like, oh, you suck if you're at level 60 with only 60%. So I try to do a lower amount that's still good enough to handle PvE and do all the things. But I do want to encourage people, hey, these are things you really want to focus on. If you're leveling up and you're wanting to get all these things done, you want to focus on this. It's definitely not meant as a shame, because if you're out there and you're like, man, I don't want to save my ISO number because it's so low, that's fine. All that means is if you have a low ISO number right now, that just means we just identified what we need to work on, right? There's nothing wrong with that at all. We just identified what you need to work on. I love that. That's fine. Only have 70% ISO at 61. What am I missing? Shadow, I can tell you're missing a ton. You don't have the Glavin, right? You're probably not Syndicate 52 like I am. I mean, that's less low for 61. But all that means, Shadow, is cool. Now we know we need to focus on this. So, for example, one set of territory researches that most people don't really look at, but I encourage people to get, I've maxed out for the Rotaran, is the Daylock Doe. That's 30% ISO right there. And that's from territory. But a lot of people have like forgotten or sleep on territory because territory's dead. Territory's only dead if you let it be dead. There's 30% right there. So Glavin 60, Daylock Doe 30, Syndicate 52. Like, but the building was 60% I talked about. All those, I'm well over 100, right? Easy. So all of these things, they add up. It's just knowing where to focus on, and that's where Rev comes in. All right, see, I've not finished doing it here for the Enterprise, so it only has a 22% bonus. But even then, that's a third of what you're at 61. And the reason it's important is you don't have to be a PvP player to reap that benefit. You need that for the new hostiles, the entities, the armadas, right? That helps every element of the game. And then, Bro Roberts, the Section 31 transmitters are to upgrade the facade building, which is actually a building I'm a little bit behind on, as you can see. But that upgrades the facade. So, you're at FKR ships 231%. Very nice, Red. Again, these are all things that we can all do free to play to boost our numbers and get better at the game, which I think something that we want. I think most people here want to get better and they want to have better numbers. Also, the brand new building, Transigen Forge, that's another 27% for me right now, heading to 28. So again, all the ways they add up over time. The more you get, the better you are. So, oh, let me go ahead and beam something real quick because I'm trying to do multiple things at once. There we go. Little beam never hurt nobody. Well, actually, that's not true. You've never been beamed by level 70. Have you played Star Trek Fleet Command? So, here we go. Admiral Pegasus says at Op 60 they're at 150% ISO, but I know I've left behind because there's so much to do in game and I struggle to remember everything. Don't worry, I'm right there with you, right? Like, even as a full-time content creator, there's 2 games that I make content for every week. Star Trek Fleet Command and War Thunder. And this game, don't you... This light's been misbehaving for so long. Here it is, by the way. If y'all have never seen it. What are you, sad? What is your problem? Stop. See, yeah, it doesn't work when it should work. Okay. I need to get a new one, but they're pricey and I've had medical bills. So the light's a paid actor. You would think, I promise, I don't have it rigged purposely to irritate me, but it does. It does. So, is there a good place where it's easy to find all those ISO sources? I'm so glad you asked because there's a content creator. He's a big old ginger and his name's Rev Deuce. He did a YouTube video about ISO and where to find it. And I'm going to put it on the screen for you now. And at the bottom of that video is probably the part y'all care about the most. Because look at that attractive man. That is an attractive man. Look at him. That's a good looking guy. Good looking guy. So if you scroll down real quick, link to a spreadsheet, list all the ISO you can get in the game, all the ISO cascade, all the ISO defense, all the chaos tech. There you go. Whee! So check out the video first because that helps support the channel. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. But I put out this 6 months ago about talking ISO damage, how to get more, and to focus on it. There you go. Check it out if you haven't already. And again, the link to the ISO damage is the pinned comment. I try to put a lot of those as the pinned comment because people were complaining like, hey, I don't use, Discord, stuff like that. So we've been putting that in the pinned comment. Warm that light up a little bit. I just realized like how pink I looked compared to that video, but my skin tone hasn't changed. Lighting is amazing. So, alrighty. Back to the game. Where I'm about to beam some ships. Yeah, if y'all are watching, appreciate y'all. Hit that like button. Helps out the channel. I know not everybody can donate, but everybody can hit a like button. And everybody can subscribe and share us out with your alliance mates so we can help them get better as well. Because here's a fun fact, y'all. We're almost 7 years into this game and Rev still does not have half the people in the game coming to me. So that means if you're here and your alliance is benefiting, y'all are probably gonna be stronger than most people in the game. So take advantage. My best ISO attack is 434.6 and base is 1120. Very nice. And obviously you got that Max Joaquim over there, which I've got to get as well. Viper, oh my goodness, thank you again. Viper, thank you for giving out the 5 memberships to Beckman, Saromni, Jackie, Benji Bear, and Charles Shane. Thank you very, very much for supporting me and my family. That means a lot. I really do appreciate y'all, loving on me, taking care of me. That's amazing. And I hope y'all know I really appreciate it. My kids appreciate it too. My daughter has gotten into where she sends thank yous with me on the website, revdeuce.com. So big thank you, Viper. I appreciate that. Hey, Doug, good to see you, my friend. Welcome in. Good to see you. Welcome in. So, oh man, this didn't post on Facebook. Oh, I thought I shared it on Facebook. Oh, my Lanta. My Lanta. Well, they got it late, but better than never. She's scary. My daughter is 5-year-old of handful, that's for sure. Any other girl dads out there? They got a handful? That's what my daughter is. He is a wild one. All right. Game questions. Chat, what y'all got? Hit me with it. I'm more than happy to help you out any way that I can. Thank God your youngest is 23 now. Dude, if my youngest was 23, that means I would have had a kid when I was 12. Yep. Yep. Good times. All right, we'll get over here. I'm going to get that grind going. I need to check, actually, the refinery again. I don't feel like we finished our refines. So, continuum, I need to do transigen. I only have 1.7 mil common at the moment. I probably need to go mine some common. And we'll go ahead and do some of this as well because Latinum. I actually really like that that includes Latinum. I think that's pretty neato. Let's go get our pulls in. Reliant level locks? There are some. Are you asking what all the Reliant level locks are? And if so, we got a spreadsheet for that because of course we do. Too many spreadsheets. Thankfully, there's a rev deuce. So, the Reliant locks are the following. At level 39, tier 4 is max. At level 50, tier 9 is max. At level 60, tier 14 is max. And then, obviously, level 8 or tier 18 is the max if you're in G6. So, level 39, max tier 4. Level 50, max tier 9. Level 60, max tier is 14. And then, obviously, 18, 470. You have a spreadsheet for your spreadsheets? Honestly, no. We have what's called the directory in my Discord to help locate some of the most well-known ones. So, yeah. Is the GS31 any good for PvP? Yes. Later down the road, mostly, but yes. GS31 very good for PvP. I need to finish doing that real quick. So let's beam something real quick. And then we're going to do a little bit of jump. So we can finish our Namas Phenomenon. It is Sunday. Don't forget, y'all. It is Sunday. Get your Namas Phenomenon done. Finally complete the 60 solo wave. Still working on the Elite. Very nice, Scott. Congrats. Is the Revenant ops locked or is it just tier locked? I mean, both technically. Like for example, you can't get the rare canisters unless you're in G5, but you can still scrap it. You can technically tier at any level. Like it doesn't technically have ops locks, but it does have a lock in the access on the refinery. So, which is kind of a lock. Final Frontier on TV. Well, good luck with that one, Erwin. So, yeah, the GS31 is really good, but it's down the road good. GS31 very good in PvP in G6 is what I would really say. And if you are in G6 looking for a ship that is going to surprise people, I found most people still do not know about the value, the strength, and the importance of a GS31. Major Samo, she only found out a couple weeks ago, but now she swears by it. It is a very strong ship. She says that 11 bill GS31 beat a 212 bill Vengeance. Yeah, it's a very strong ship, but it needs tiers to get there. It reminds you almost of the Cube, where the Cube for 30 levels was kind of eh. The GS31 is, I mean, it's still good in your solos, like your elite waves and everything, but it doesn't really take off as a PvP juggernaut until G6. And then it is not as good as a Borg Cube, but it is still really good. Really good. We can actually pull up the toolbox real quick. 1 second. And I will show you a quick comparison so we can all look together. So I'm going to pick that. Give me a second, y'all. I'm putting something together, and then y'all will see it. Where is my GS31? There we go. And then last but not least, where's our Borg Cube? All right. And on the screen we go. I want you to focus on... I'll do it this way. Trying to make sure we can see all this. Oh, my Lanta. Give me a second, chat. All right, y'all ready? Boop. All right, so this is base alpha damage for round 1 and round 2. What that means is your actual oomph shot that you can do. How big? So, assuming we have a max tier, a max GS31 base round 1 damage 14.8 million compared to an enterprise, maxed enterprise at 11.4. A GS31 at max, this is G6 players, will out DPR the G6 ships. Now, it's not going to be a Borg cube, which is absolutely silly. The Borg cube gets really silly, but this is still worth showing off. We can also come in here and do the Vengeance. And you can see it's not Vengeance level, but it's still pretty daggone respectable. And then the Borg cube is just silly in round 1. Now, again, this is round 1 stuff, right? Round 2, slightly different. The Vengeance actually takes off in round 2, but that's why the Vengeance is losing, by the way, is because of the round 1 alpha damage, or just how hard we can punch just based on weapons and shots in round 1. The GS31 has, and that's not including its beaming ability, which can significantly improve your PvP performance because of how the beam works. So the GS31, very, very good. So GS31 will get you in arenas. Yeah, you got to be paying attention to it. Now, the thing is, as you can see on the tiers here, you need to be tiered up. So let me, we're going to swap this to just looking at Crenshaw's and, you know, Velox, right? Very common and very similar tiered. So look at the massive up here. So the Crenshaw is going to be in blue, Velox is going to be in red, and then you can see where the GS31 starts to overtake, right? Based on tiers. And then again, we're just talking straight up damage in round 1. Now, just like the Vengeance we saw, the Crenshaw will do better in round 2, but so many fights now, because of various things that exist, especially in G6, are shorter again, even though the whole point of the firing pattern of G6 ships was to make longer fights. But neither here nor there. That round 1 punch, which a lot of players take advantage of with crewing and FTs and CTs and everything else, not to mention the debuffs and buffs, you can see the value of a GS31. It punches so hard in that first round, where even if you don't win the fight, you do significantly more damage than the average player is probably expecting you to do. So, and this is, by the way, our toolbox Quirky Zombie made years ago. I'll put it here in the chat. Some of y'all don't use it, but this is the same place you get the mitigation calculator, by the way. So if you ever saw the video where Rev did the mitigation calculator, taught y'all how mitigation worked, that was there. So shout out to Quirky Zombie in the toolbox. One of the many, many tools that we use to be math nerds so that we can just tell you what works. Instead of you having to do the math yourself, we just go, hey, do this. And then you know. The Vengeance mission to acquire, that's called money, Lou. That's called money and events. Where is, okay, there he is. It's called money and events, Lou. I don't even, ugh, gosh. It's a sour topic for me. I'm not a fan of the Vengeance, but hey, that thing works every time. Works every time. Let me go see if I finish this event real quick. Still got to do that, but I have finished my anomalous phenomenon, so that's good. Phenomena. People remember that the calculator has many caveats in it? Absolutely. And that's why I really try to emphasize the base alpha damage. So it does not include crewing. That does not include research, favors, buffs, debuffs. But it does show you, look at this escalating scale of what you have the potential to work with. Again, I've really tried to get into the habit of telling people, look, it doesn't matter what ship you pick, because what you're picking is a platform. Can you take advantage of that platform? And the Vengeance has to me, a big negative in PvP, which is that it shoots a lot. For a G6 ship, it has an insane number of shots, 20 shots in 2 rounds, 40 shots in 4 rounds. But it's even number loaded versus odd number loaded. So that means that it gets most of its DPR in rounds 2, 4, 6, 8, etc. The best PvP ships in the game get most of their DPR in rounds 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. That's just typically how it works. Now, you can still get better value just being big, right? Like if you've got a Vengeance, you're going to beat 99.99999% of every fight you get into because you've got a Vengeance and they don't, until more people get more of them, right? But again, when you're trying to be a PvP player, this is why Rev focuses on the Rotaran. It's why Red focused on the Pylum years ago. Remember I was telling everybody, hey, if you're a PvPer, you want the Pylum. It was never that the Pylum was uniquely special, like because it's Romulan. It's because its firing pattern was insanely good. Firing patterns matter. And The GS31 is the exact same benefit that a board cube has. Round one, right? Round one is where most of the shots and power are coming. Odd number firing patterns are better than even number firing patterns in this game. And that's just always been the truth. Now, there are exceptions to every rule, but that's just always been the basic truth. Even number firing patterns are weaker than odd number. And this goes all the way back to when we were in 2009 talking about why the Intrepid was not a very good ship, because it took rounds to get the firing pattern going. So I use a Crenshaw or a Taran? Obviously a Crenshaw. Come on, that's not even a question. Obviously use a Crenshaw. But yeah, it takes time to get some of these patterns going, and that's why some are just objectively worse than others. Like, and it's hard to call the Vengeance bad because, again, it fires 8 shots in round one, which is still better than almost every G6 ship, but that's why the Vengeance is not a god tier ship, because if it did that, if it did the round 2 and round 1, it would be pretty unstoppable by today's gaming standard. Now, what G7 looks like, we'll have to wait and see. But because it is mostly even loaded, you can see board cubes taking it down and GS31's taking it down, and that surprises a lot of people. And it all comes back to the basics of the game. Odd number firing patterns starting at round 1 are better than even number patterns. And those ships have a natural advantage. Doesn't mean they're always going to win. They've got a better platform for you to work with. So, can an Enterprise D compare to Rotaran, all research and crew types being similar? Yes, I mean, the Enterprise D is not bad. The Rotaran is just better. Again, I run into this a lot. Like, none of what I'm saying is saying like, oh, don't get the Enterprise D, because we can pull up plenty of screenshots of the Enterprise D beating Rotarans, right? We're just talking, if we're comparing platform to platform, what's better? The Rotaran is slightly better. A lot of the Rotaran being better though, and I hate to say this because I love my Klingons, has a lot more to do with some Cardassians than it does some Klingons. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I love the Rotaran, but the main reason that we go Rotaran over Enterprise is more to do with some Cardassians. It's that IST, which is to me still the best PvP crew in the game. Just today, it still is number 1, and there's so many things that you can do to work with it. The Enterprise D puts out actually decent damage, especially if you do a round 1 and round 2 comparison. The Diderdex and the Enterprise D actually have higher normal, like regular DPR. But that's where the Rotaran taking advantage of IST comes in, and that helps a lot. And Panda's right, you also have FC Locutus, which helps. FC Khan is more naturally favored towards things like a Rotaran or a Crenshaw or a Pylum. But again, this goes back to Moopsy's point. It's why you can't just take blank stats as the end all be all, because there's a lot of factors that go into that. So like, my Rotaran is significantly better than my Enterprise D, but if you sleep with my Enterprise D will punch you in the mouth and make you regret it, because my Enterprise D is a 3 billion power ship sitting with, 336 ISO percentage, and if I throw a good crew on there, it's going to hurt you. Do not look at this and go, oh, well, the Rotaran's actually the good one. No, all 3 of them are good. That's why I encourage everybody to hit 60 and be ready to go, scrapping ships and making these things big, because these things are dominant, right? Again, just to keep on rubbing salt in the Stargate wound, right? All 3 of the epics can do this. It's not exclusive to the Rotaran, but the Rotaran has a great crew, and you combine that with all the things available, you get great results. But you can do great shots with Enterprises. Like, it's the platform. Taking advantage of the platform. So a Harrison-style PvP officer would benefit Vengeance in a PvP fight. It would benefit going against a Vengeance. But Harrison is limited to round 1. So by nature, Harrison has always been better on Saladins, Pylums, right? Big round 1 shooters. Big round 1 shooters. Harrison type officers are always best front loaded. So, got a max Glavin, etc. My ISO Cascade, or my ISO, my Rotaran is only 288 with single level 52. How did you get up to 350? So Paladin, again, other things come into that. Have you done your territory researches? Right? That's 30%. Where is your DTI building at? Mine's at level 60. That's 60%. Right? Where is your war room at? Where is your transition forge at? Right? Those 3 buildings, that research, there's plenty of other researches. So could be a lot of things that have yours being less than mine, but that gives you a direction to look. And if you have all those things, then we can dig a little bit deeper. So just max your Rotaran this week. Congrats, Edmund. It's an exciting thing to have a max Rotaran. Also, I just completely forgot that, why is this? Okay. I was thinking it was running off the screen real quick, but it's fine. Never mind. How do we cut the trick cost for upgrading the Epic 5Gs? Artifacts. I mean, there's actually a lot of ways to cut that cost, but if we're talking specifically like Trit, that is going to be, I'm gonna have to hit the button. Trick cost. Mud's Endorian helmet. That's a building one. Never mind. Where's the one for ship components? Spock's engagement pendant. That's a big one, which is in the Alliance tournaments, by the way. Scott's engagement pendant is a big one. And I actually really encourage people to get this very high before going into G6 especially. But if you're trying to have things ready to go to make things easier for level 60, because look, y'all remember, it took me months to get my Daedaridex, Rotaran, and Enterprise D-maxed, right? Because of the Tritanium, not because of ore, which actually was another problem, but the main issue was the Tritanium. Getting stuff like this is huge, which is also why we reference tools like Spock's Club so often, because Spock's Club can tell you what is your total percentage that you have of reduction. And I think my Tritanium reduction is like 300 or 3,000% efficiency right now. So I'm able to drastically reduce my cost, and it still took me time. But Spock's engagement pendant is a big one, and I bring that up because Alliance tournaments is going on right now. And while you can get the Spock's engagement pendant in other places, the Spock's engagement pendant is in the store in chunks. So right here, you can get 39 for what I would call a cheap price. So as an example, I'm gonna grab one, come back over here. In fact, I think I could go ahead and just max out the Spock's engagement pendant since we're here. But where'd it go? Where, hold on, where is it at? Well, Rev's gone blind. Oh, there it is. Oh, I needed more than that. So I need to get 48, 83. Okay. We can do that. But again, if we're trying to reduce cost in Alliance tournaments, it's quite relatively cheap to do that. So we'll grab a couple of those and we'll come back in here, and that's going to help you again. So it's going to help jump it up. Bam. So if I take it to 14, I'm going to do that. And we can just take this even higher, but this is something I recommend people do before going G6. But as you're pushing to 60, very good to have this one because it's one of the biggest chunks of that. So you can get a quite nice discount. Yeah, my Lorca efficiency is on artifacts. And then, bam. And because I just hit level 15, that means I can go ahead and max it out. Go ahead and max it out. So now I'm at 600%. So that means my total is probably around 3,300 right now. And got that thanks to the remnants I had saved up. So Alliance tournaments, if you're looking for ways to improve things like cost, like you're right at level 60, you're new there and you're wanting to up that, well, there you go. There's a way to do that. And of course, you want to max these things out because the mastery artifacts, which are down here, these are new. Well, those have requirements to having certain number of artifacts maxed before you can take full advantage of them. And you want to, because we were talking earlier about, hey, we want to get more resources and goodies. Well, that's where these come in. That's what this is. So that's a daily claim for all of those once you get them tiered up. So just, look, I know not everybody wants to say great things about Strange New Worlds Part 1, last month's content. And I'll be honest, in terms of like the grind of the events, I'm with you. But don't sleep on those mastery artifacts, especially if you're a player going into G6. That's why I shouted it out earlier and I said, hey, if y'all have got levels that we don't have put on the spreadsheet, please send it to me. Because, you know, Samo and Moopsy are here. They're G6. Let them tell you how much getting 6,000 trid a day at level 61 would be nice, right? And that, again, we're assuming it gets significantly higher. Just based on how it's increasing, I would assume by the time we get here, we're talking 50, 60,000 Sigma a day, like trid. Yeah, ask how much that would help every day. Right, I'm assuming it's going to get significantly. It actually could be around 100,000 or more. you can try to guess and extrapolate based on seeing how much is increasing. So 600 here, about 600 there, then 800, right? Then we get 1300 increase. See how it's just slowly getting more and more. So you could math it out if you want to do a guesstimations over there. But again, that's every day you'll have that most people will not have had to, well, they wouldn't have had, right? That have already been in G6. And that, look, at the rares you're going to get. And then the speed ups. This is probably the biggest one if we're really hyping on something. 13 hours a day just from existing by having this thing at tier 6 right now. Just having it 13 hours a day, right? And we know, based on that math, we're going to at least be talking a day or more by the time that gets maxed. So very important. If you remember, I put this in the video, you have to have certain numbers of artifacts max to do that, as well as opting up. So number of level 12 artifacts, need 45 of them bad boys for Mbenga's storybook to get to tier 10. So definitely don't sleep on your artifacts. Make sure your alliance is doing Chrono Formation Armadas. Make sure you're doing your turn-ins, right? So that you can make sure that you can take advantage of these things once they get leveled up. Do you grind ship XP or do you lat your way into maxing ships? Technically neither, Valdoom. Where I get most of my ship XP, believe it or not, is the refinery. It's the Voyager refinery specifically. This is where I get most of my ship XP. Click the refine button. There you go. This is where I get most of my ship XP every day. Actually, from doing that every day is where I get it. So, because I've maxed the Voyager, you might go, well, the Voyager's useless now. People forget that these boxes give ship XP. These boxes give ship XP. So you might go, well, Rev, this is stupid. What do I need any of this for? Ship XP. And anybody who's in G6 with 18 tiers on the ship can tell you more ship XP is mo better. Every day I come in here and I pull these chests. Now the best value for ship XP are these 4 right here. But if you're like Rev and you also want to speed up old loops or get more latinum, these are also nice. So just check which one is best for you. Like that one gives 280,000. So, but there you go. Them's the answers. Ship XP. Now I still will end up, depending on what day it is, maybe I'm trying to move really quickly, I do have to use latinum. But to avoid using latinum when I can, I'm doing my pulls. Since this is part of my bulk refine, I just hit my button and go. So there you go. Little fun tips and tricks from Rev. How you check ISO percentage? To check your static ISO, just pick on your faction ship, hit the details button, and it's going to be right there. We're under the DPR. You mine most of your XP lately? That is true. You can mine XP, but you're not going to catch me with an Enterprise D on a node just so I can get some XP off of it. I'm just going to be honest. You're not going to catch Rev doing that. So, I've set up a lot of those daily artifacts on bulk refine for bulk claim. It's nice. Yeah. And again, there are definitely flaws with the artifact system. Shout out Samo, who's here, who is already cursing at what I'm about to mention. But the whole process of doing all this, then going to your refinery and doing all that, yep, it's a headache. It's annoying. It's dumb. But there you go. Yep. There you go. I'm sure Samo was probably one of the ones cussing at the fact that they took away the automatic refining of these. Because here I am, just with just oobles and goobles of them. Just, there we go. There more and more. Yay, Rev. He likes having all the things to constantly do the things on. Yeah. That's annoying. Especially because I don't really need these artifact remnants anymore. But at the same time, it annoys me that this is sitting here. It really bugs me that these are all just sitting here accumulating more and more. And I know it's probably dumb. But I have 1,000 of these tendrils. I'm not kidding you. I have 1,012 sitting right now of this tendril. And it bugs the fire out of me. It really irritates me. And it shouldn't. It's probably dumb. But it does irritate the fire out of me. So, anyway, welcome to Rev Rants. Yeah. There we go. Still, it's a good system. Not gonna pretend it's not. But yeah. I've also got, I could do the Orb of Emissary now if I wanted to. Improving my crit chance on Explorers against Interceptors. It's actually for my Enterprise D right there. I got the Orb of Time and the Iconian Gateway. That's your repair efficiency. Might be nice for me going into Sigma having that done. I'll debate on it. Which ones I want to do. So. Any word on bulk refined factory stores? That and bulk research are coming. So, but ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button because we have now hit our time. Now, once a stream, I put this stuff out there. Look, you never have to do it, but it's greatly appreciated if you do. If you want to support the channel, head over to revdeuce.com. When we give away battle passes, that's because of people financially supporting. When we have, school and activities with our kids, because of people like you supporting. So, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App is in the chat. 400 of y'all here. If 20 of y'all donate $5, man, that is helping us finish that right there. So every bit's appreciated, never required. Thank you for supporting me and my family. If you need anything, hit me up here on Discord, Facebook, X, YouTube, all the places. And last but certainly not least, don't forget, if you're on our membership, revdeuce.com, new podcast episode coming out tomorrow, and movie night is in 3.5 hours. So appreciate y'all for loving on me and my family. Means the world. And I'll see y'all tomorrow, and especially Tuesday, because tomorrow night is an all-nighter for Rev. Yay, patch notes. Woo! I'm not as young as I used to be, but I'll see you there.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.